Hi everybody, for this video I would like to briefly go over the education observation assignment. Again, it's your responsibility to become familiar with it in the syllabus and email me if you have any questions, but I just wanted to go over it so you could go ahead and get started on narrowing down your school sites that you're interested in observing, and also for you to start reaching out to these schools. I would like you to do that during this week. For the purpose of this project, you don't only have to limit your observations for a K through 12 setting. So if you're interested in teaching in college or in a preschool, or if you're interested in what tutoring looks like, those are definitely options for you. So if you are interested in something that you think might or might not work into this assignment, please just reach out to me and we can discuss that. So let's take a look at the syllabus. Your rubric for the assignment is listed here, so make sure that you are familiar with what the expectations are for this assignment. Remember that this assignment is a requirement in order to complete and pass this course. The purpose of this project is to get you into an educational setting and to look at education from an educator's perspective. So something I want you to consider as you start narrowing down your observation sites are what are places that will really fit into your interest in this course. So think about that. And if you are working in a K through 12 classroom, I would definitely recommend you getting contact with them immediately, because sometimes they'll take a couple days, maybe even a week or two to get back with you. Sometimes you might get rejected. So those are things that you need to consider. So the sooner you can get started, the better it is. And maybe choose multiple sites that you're interested in and reach out to multiple sites. How can we reach out to them? Excuse me. You might want to reach out to the school secretary, either call them or email them. Calling would probably be better and more efficient. Let them know what you're doing, what is the purpose of this assignment, that you're a University of Buffalo student and that this is a course requirement, and if there's anybody that they could put you into contact with in order to facilitate this, maybe they can give you an email address of somebody who would be interested in working with you. And if they need any more information, there is the observation letter that I posted under observation information in the Schoology folder. So if you click on here, you'll find the observation letter. So any correspondence that you have with the school through email in requesting an observation, I would recommend you putting this letter in there so they know that it's official and it's for a course. I just wanted to point something out to you briefly. Dr. Nicole Barrett is my director. She's in the Department of Learning and Instruction, and so she is my director for this course. So her email information is on there. In case there is a problem, they can reach out directly to her, and she will be very responsive in getting back to them and figuring out how we can resolve any issues. So let's go back to the syllabus. A couple of sites, if you are located near the UB campus, there's a couple of sites that you might be considering. One of them is the Sweet Home School District near the North Campus, Bennett High School near the South Campus, Buffalo Prep on South Campus, and Early Child Resource Center on the North Campus. These are all schools that have worked with UB in the past. The Early Childhood Resource Center actually sent out an email in the beginning of the semester with directions on how to set up an observation. So if you take a look at the folder for observation, you'll find the letter here. It has very specific instructions of how to request an observation, and it seems like it's really accessible to UB students, so that might be something that you're interested in doing. And it would be great for students who are interested in going into early childhood education. So that's an option for you. So again, when you're reaching out to the schools, make sure that you compose a professional email. So include your name, some really nice salutations, explain what you're doing, explain that you've attached a letter about this course assignment, and just be very professional. You want to think, and this goes without saying, that you're a representative of this class and of me and of the University of Buffalo. So you want to make sure when you conduct your observations, you're dressing professionally, you're following all the rules of the educational setting, that you're courteous and respectful. You also want to think this might be a potential place for future employment. So how would you act as a future employee in this institution. So that might be something else you want to consider. Make sure that if you're not running on time for your observation, let's say something happens, that you communicate with the school or the teacher immediately so they know and they're not waiting for you to get there. Make sure you turn off your cell phone and that you're courteous to all teachers, students, and any faculty and staff that you interact with. Again, I know that goes without saying, but I just wanted to remind you. Something that's very important that I do want to point out to you that you might not be aware of is that you are not allowed to take any pictures of minors in the educational setting at any time. If you would like to take a picture of the classroom environment, so in week 1 we talked a little bit about traditional classrooms, teacher-student role. So if you're interested in talking about the layout of the classroom, is it a traditional looking classroom with a blackboard and the instructor in the front, etc. If you want to take pictures of that, you also need to make sure that you request permission from the teacher first. Also make sure that you are not posting anything on social media while you're in the school, especially pictures of students or any minors while you're there. Again, you want to make sure when you're conducting the observation that you have reliable transportation. That's your responsibility to take care of. And when you're done with the observation, a nice gesture, thanking the teacher and the school would be appropriate. So you think about maybe a $5 or $10 gift card to somewhere, or just like a nice handwritten note would be appropriate too. And also a follow-up email thanking them for their time. So those are just general things that we should consider when we're in the schools or educational setting. In terms of the requirements for the written portion, again, I will leave that up to you for you to read and understand. If you have any questions, please let me know. There are some examples of previous work that I've included here on the syllabus. These are only examples, so your write-up does not need to look like this, but this might be a good starting point if you don't know what direction you want to go in. I've also included a list about advice, like what you should think about, what you should be doing while you're in the observation, and some ideas and questions that you could address. I'm going to make this into a template for you to use during the observation, so you don't have to answer all the questions while you're there. You're probably not even going to have time to do that, but at least you might be able to answer some of the questions while you're there, or put down pieces of observations that you feel like fit into some of these questions. And then I would definitely recommend, as soon as the observation is over, go back and write down your observations, any comments that you want to write down while it's fresh, because when you go back to write later, you might not remember everything that happened. So definitely keep a good record of what you saw and what you did while you were there. Again, if you have any questions, please let me know. If you have any questions finding a site, then I can help you with that. And Dr. Barrett, my director, is also very good about doing that and is very responsive. So if we have any issues, don't worry too much. I will be posting a Google Doc soon on Schoology. So once you've narrowed down that site and you have received confirmation, just go ahead and let me know who you are, where you're going to be visiting, and what's the projected date that you're going to be doing your observation. That way I can kind of get a good look at where everybody is, and we can move forward from there. Okay guys, any questions, email me. Other than that, you guys take care.